Welcome to Mysteries of the Unknown. In this episode, we're covering the case of Rey Rivera, a man who left his house after a phone call and never came home. Days later, he was found dead under a hole in the roof of a locked conference room of a very popular hotel. The fall that killed him didn't make sense. There were no witnesses, and the more people tried to understand what happened, the stranger the story got. This is the mysterious death and story of Rey Rivera.
Subscribe now. Rey Rivera was 32 years old, newly married, and living in Baltimore, Maryland with his wife Allison Rivera in May 2006. They had moved there from California the year before so Rey could work for Stansberry and Associates, a financial publishing company owned by his longtime friend, Porter Stansberry. Rey was a writer and aspiring filmmaker. The job paid well, but he reportedly hoped to one day return to more creative work. On May 16, 2006, Allison left town on a business trip. That evening, around 4:30 or 5 p.m., Rey received a phone call at home and suddenly left the house. The call came through the switchboard of Stansberry and Associates. His brother-in-law, who was staying with them, was home at the time and said Rey rushed out quickly. Rey didn't say where he was going. He left in his black Mitsubishi Montero SUV and never came back. When Allison couldn't reach him later that night, she became concerned. By the next morning, she reported him missing to the Baltimore Police Department. 6 days later, on May 22nd, a friend of the family found Rey's SUV parked in a paid lot next to the Belvedere Hotel, a historic building in downtown Baltimore. Inside the car were his flip-flops, a parking stub, and an unopened bottle of soda. There was no sign of a struggle and no indication of where Rey had gone after leaving the vehicle. On May 24th, a building engineer noticed a strong odor coming from a locked, unused conference room inside the Belvedere. When staff opened the room, they discovered Rey's body on the floor beneath a hole in the ceiling. He had apparently fallen from a great height. The hole was located in the roof of a small annex structure, set several stories below the main rooftop. The placement raised immediate questions about how Rey could have landed there. The Baltimore Medical Examiner ruled the cause of death to be blunt force trauma, consistent with a fall, but the ruling was officially marked as undetermined. There were several unusual details at the scene. Rey's phone and glasses were found near his body, undamaged, despite the violent fall. His flip-flops were also found, one broken, one intact. There was no evidence he had accessed the rooftop through any monitored or open area. The Belvedere rooftop was difficult to reach, and no surveillance footage showed Rey entering the building or using any stairwells or elevators that led to the top. Back at Rey's home, Allison found a note taped behind his computer. It was a folded piece of paper containing a long, handwritten message referencing famous movies, actors, quotes, and phrases linked to Freemasonry, including the line, "Whom virtue unites, death will not separate." The FBI reviewed the note and determined it was not a suicide note. In the days following Rey's discovery, Stansberry and Associates refused to cooperate with the investigation. Employees were instructed not to speak to police, and Porter Stansberry never gave a public comment. The call that had pulled Rey from his home, the one traced to Stansberry's office, was never linked to a specific person. Nearly 2 decades later, Rey Rivera's death remains officially unsolved. There was no clear explanation for how he got to the roof. No conclusive evidence of suicide or foul play. Just a phone call, a parked car, and a body found in a place no one expected.
That's the full story of what happened to Rey Rivera, at least what's known. In part 2, we'll explore the theories. Was it suicide? Was he pushed? Or did Rey uncover something he wasn't supposed to? That's next, right here on Mysteries of the Unknown.